Good morning and welcome to the Cryptonomatron. These are the news articles that were brought to my attention in the last 24 hours. First off, the number of Bitcoin users looks to reach 200 million by 2024. This was as a result of a number of studies and obviously the increasing usage on Coinbase. Back in 2017, March 2017, a study at Cambridge Uni revealed that the number of active users of Bitcoin wallets was in the range of only 2.9 million to 5.8 million. However, since then we can see that the growth has been absolutely exponential, with Coinbase recording 1.2 million users in November alone and over 13 million active users. I'll link to this below and you can go and have a little bit more read of it. It's exponential growth has continued in Asia as well, with Japan, Bitflyer being mentioned, and BitThumb, which is a South Korean exchange, also having 1 million users on their platforms. So mass adoption certainly approaching. Craigslist has decided to go crypto by introducing a cryptocurrency button on its classified ad website. So if you sell things or you're trading things, you can show that you're okay with accepting cryptocurrency payments. In other news, Bulletproofs will reduce the Monero transaction fees by 80%. Now, as networks get more widely used and busier, scalability becomes a bigger issue. Transaction times therefore are affected, and also fees grow as well. So the key to the scalability issue for Monero appears to be this Bulletproofs, and they're looking to reduce the transaction size up to 80% and keep the network fees at a reasonable rate. So that looks like an interesting development, and they say they have pretty much found a solution. There is also a new hardware wallet out called Coinkite Coldcard. It's a bit of a tongue twister at this time in the morning. It is a cheap and ultra-secure hardware wallet, and with a lot of interesting features. There will be no specialized software required. You can drag and drop files onto it, no companion apps, no bloatware, etc, etc. It's ultra secure because the crypto security chip will store your private keys, and that won't be on the main micro's flash, so it will be more difficult to hack. And there are other features they're going to introduce. Two-factor authentication, signed text messages, multi-sig wallets, etc. But what also interested me about this was the duress, or the secondary wallet feature, to limit the damage, they say, from rubber hose attacks. Now, if you look at the cartoon there, you know, somebody's imagining that if they're going to get hacked, or they're going to get you know, threatened by a criminal, that because their device is encrypted, they'll be fully protected. But as we know, most criminals will probably rely on the threat of violence, or violence itself, to force you to part with your private keys or your passwords. So they are going to provide this optional secondary PIN code. So if you enter that PIN code instead of the real one, nothing special or nothing different is showed on the screen, but the Bitcoin key generated is not the main key. So you can effectively have a side amount of Bitcoin that you will allow a criminal to have, and then your main Bitcoin is protected, which I think is a really important and interesting feature for this hardware wallet. You can pre-order at the moment. The cost appears to be $49.99. I may get my hands on one of them and do a review of it in due course. In other news, financial news, the New York Stock Exchange chairman regrets not launching Bitcoin futures trading first. Of course, there's a lot of money to be made from it. The chairman, Jeff Sprecher, said he and his exchange were fools for letting his competitors beat them to the launch of Bitcoin futures trading. And he says, ironically, the New York Stock Exchange has been a pioneer when dealing with Bitcoin, as it was the one that introduced the Bitcoin index in the early summer of 2016. So Bitcoin futures obviously will launch today at some point, with the CME group following on December the 18th. So the first full day of trading will be tomorrow, Monday the 11th, I think it is, and it will be provided by the Chicago Board Options Exchange, or CBOE. So it'll be interesting to watch how that affects the price of Bitcoin. Another interesting article was this: ICO explores the completely uncharted waters of sports betting. I'm not sure if that's very accurately the case, but more than 80 countries have laws that legalise gambling, and sports betting, of course, is ubiquitous in all these countries that allow it. very popular, and it is a multi-billion dollar market. So that's of interest to anybody that may want to take part in this ICO. Now the sports betting report by Technavio says sports gambling online makes up 40% of the revenue worldwide. So that's a massive figure. However, there is no cryptocurrency bookmaker on the market at the moment. So this company wants to implement this. It's called XWin, and they're going to use the blockchain to allow smart contract technology so that people can gamble with crypto online. So something to watch out for in the near future. Ethereum's now accepted for private airlines. This company, Surfair, is accepting Ethereum and Bitcoin payments for its tickets. So again, more mainstream adoption. And this seems to be one of the major stories from today. HashPuppies on the Neo blockchain. Obviously following in the footsteps, the padded soft footsteps of CryptoKitties, which have put a strain on the Ethereum blockchain and network as a result of many people buying these virtual pets and people selling them, and it seems to be a craze at the moment. Neo doesn't want to be left out, so HashPuppies is being launched, coming soon. I expect within the next few days. It'll be interesting to see whether it's as fun or as widely adopted as CryptoKitties. And that brought me to this new article from Hackernoon on Medium. He has a very interesting article about why Neo might be 2018's strongest cryptocurrency. Now, full disclosure from me, as per usual, I will always tell you the truth. I don't hide behind, I don't make secrets, I don't let you guess what projects I'm involved with. I will tell you absolutely openly. You can ask me in the comments down below what coins I hold, what projects I will be supporting in the near future. If I'm advising any projects, I will let you know. I won't be making any secret moves or any hints or cryptic tips. It will be fully disclosed. And I do hold Neo. So this is not an advertisement for it. I've held Neo for a long time. I bought some when it was Ant shares, back when it was way under $5, and I've held some since then. I've sold some, and I will probably be buying more actually now that the price is about $33 today with the dip in the markets. But this article, back to this article, it's very interesting. It outlines why Neo may be the strongest cryptocurrency next year. A lot of good points as to why it may well be. It also compares it with Ethereum and why it can compete or even overtake Ethereum in the future. So I won't go into too much detail here. The article's very well written as usual from this blogger, but it makes a few good points, and one of them that I took away from it was that Ethereum reacts to market demand, in that Ethereum is basically playing catch up. When something is demanded for Ethereum, Ethereum then implements it. Whereas the difference with Neo is already anticipating the market demand and what it needs to do to be used in the future. So that's one of the main things that Neo has got going for it, I would say. Now, the other thing that stood out to me in this article was it mentioned a digital signature or digital identity system, and Neo are partnered with THEKEY, which is an ICO that's going on at the moment. As we can see here, Neo is already working in a strategic partnership with THEKEY, which is a project being developed on the Neo platform that will assist with providing digital identification. Now, why this is important is because anonymity is great, especially for guys like us, single guys, just doing our thing with the crypto. We like anonymity. We don't like people knowing what we're doing. We certainly don't want government intrusion or anything else. But if you're going to be adopted in the mainstream, people will need to know who you are. If you want to do business in the real world, if you like, then you need to have an identity, and you will need to have a digital identity if you're going to use cryptocurrency. And this is why it's important for the industries, as they need to report to the government, and there's just no way around that, unfortunately. So the key is similar to Civic in that it deals with an identity verification tool and uses a decentralized ecosystem or network to achieve this. And Civic is utilized more on the Ethereum blockchain, while the key is on the Neo blockchain. And this looks like an interesting project. I may try and do a review of it in the future. Just to restate the blurb on the homepage, the THEKEY Project Team is now developing an identification verification, or IDV, tool with blockchain-based dynamic multi-dimension identification, BDMI, by using personally identifiable information, which is exclusively authorized by government authorities. Now, I don't particularly like the fact that governments snoop on what I'm doing. This is the whole point of having Bitcoin, and the blockchain technology behind it is to unbank everybody and to keep everybody relatively anonymous. However, I do understand there is a need for this technology going forward. So it'll be interesting to watch where this project goes. And of course, as Neo looks towards more mainstream and more mass adoption, it will be apps or dApps like this that run on the back of Neo that will be used. So let's take a quick look at the markets. Bitcoin having a very healthy correction from way over $17,000, and as usual, what Bitcoin does, the rest follow, and we're nearly in full double-digit reds all the way across the board. There's carnage in the streets, there's limbs lying about. It's like a scene from The Walking Dead. And no surprise that all the big gainers like NEM are now suffering and in free fall. Now, where this will stop, I don't know. It looks like it's gradually grinding to a halt now. So let's hope that the worst is over with and the best is yet to come. But just to point out that almost 50 billion was wiped off the market cap in the last 48 hours. 50 billion, can you believe that? I remember when we were talking about market cap being 50 billion. Bitcoin dominance continuing at over 60%. And there will be volatility, as nobody knows what's going to happen once these futures launch. So again, be careful what you're doing. Pick your price points accordingly, and buy in when you get a good dip. Personally, I am purchasing a little bit more of Bitcoin at the moment, and I am going to pick a couple of alts that are in a decent position. I may, as I said, pick up more Neo because it's looking very tasty at the moment, and Neo is definitely going to be one of the ones to watch in 2018. Neo is a long-term hold for me. I have no interest at the moment in trading it for profit. I will stack up on it and I will hold it until it really realizes its value, and then I'll consider whether I'm going to take any profit from it. So everything really in the red there. I don't think we need to go down. There's not really anything that surprises. Decentraland continuing to buck the trend there. I mentioned it the other day very briefly. It is a virtual reality network which you can actually own land and property inside. It's recently off ICO. So let's take a quick look at the gainers and losers. And no surprise that Bulwark, I think, off ICO is up there. Universal Currency or Unit there, and Snovio, which I did a video on a few days ago, is continuing to grow. As I mentioned to you in the video, it was almost a third of ICO price, and it's only on Ether Delta, hasn't gone on any other exchanges yet. And as we can see there, very low volume, but still a bargain at 0.5 cent almost. And it's a very interesting project. I will just quickly mention it again. I don't want to flog a dead horse, but Snovio's anything but dead, mind you. Is a lead generation, decentralized lead generation network that allows you to generate leads if you're an HR marketing person. It's very interesting. You can download the Chrome app, add it to Chrome and start using it. It's free. They do have a paid subscription, so if you are a professional that needs to use it to generate a lot of leads, then you probably want to pay the monthly subscription fee, sorry. Okay, so that's that. Let's see what's recently added. Snovio and Bulwark will be two of those, and it seems like they are doing well. The ICOs that are just on CoinMarketCap seem to be very popular. So that's about it for me today. If you enjoyed that, please like, subscribe, and I'm sure you're all too busy playing CryptoKitties and HashPuppies in the near future, but please still try to tune in for me. I do appreciate the support, guys, and I have done a props ICO review. I had issues yesterday, technical issues. Oh, terrible being a YouTuber these days. I'm a bit of a Luddite, I must be honest with you. I had technical issues yesterday that prevented me from putting the video online, so I will do it imminently in a couple of hours. Yeah, I did a props ICO review, interesting project. If you're not aware, props is a ICO. They are backed by YouNow, which is a streaming video service online, and they've got some very interesting ideas how to incorporate a blockchain ecosystem and allow content creators and people that use the network to benefit from using it. So stay tuned for that. It will be online soon, and thanks for watching.